going to a digital currency society where cash will be gradually eradicated, either through non-use or a lot of countries and a lot of governments are trying to actively ban it. So they're putting limits on how much you can use cash. Say, $1,000, and if it's more than $1,000, using cash is illegal. When we go to the society, we have to really think about the implications. Do we want a society in which our digital money is under complete surveillance and complete control, where if you go to the wrong protest, or if you support the wrong political campaign, or if you make a payment to the wrong person or receive money from the wrong person, suddenly your money disappears. It's no longer yours anymore. It's frozen, it's seized, it's gone. And someone has control of that. Corporations, banks, governments, and in most cases, there is no difference between corporation, bank, and government, right? And so that's one scenario. And the other scenario is one in which individuals control their money. And it is digital money, but it's digital cash like Bitcoin, where you can pay an individual from one person to another, just like I can with cash today, without any other party getting involved. What really strikes me as amazing is that we've gotten used to this idea so quickly, which is that we no longer pay people. We no longer pay people directly. The less we use cash, the more we pay people through a corporation, right? So from tipping your valet to tipping your taxi driver to tipping wherever, tipping is pretty much the last remaining part of our society where cash is used to pay from one person who is not an incorporated entity to another person who is not an incorporated entity. Everything else you have to pay through a corporation, whether it's a bank, right? Whether it's Venmo, whether it's PayPal, whether it's any of those things. And we've gradually gotten used to this environment where we can't pay another person unless there's a corporation involved. And that's astonishing to me. And as cash disappears, that then becomes a final fact, that every single payment in your life will be from you to a corporation.
And that corporation takes a piece of that, every single thing.
And not just that, it doesn't just take a piece, it also controls and surveils and monitors your use. And if you violate the terms and conditions, you are destitute.
Wow.
So the issue is not what we have today versus the digital currency of the future or Bitcoin or whatever. It's both futures are digital currency, and in both futures, cash will no longer exist. That is inevitable. We are going down that road, and now we have to choose. Do we go to the digital cashless society of corporate control over money with the complete and total merging of corporate and state money, where instead of having separation of state and money, you have the merging of state and money and corporation and money, where your money is branded money? You have Chase dollars, you have Goldman Sachs dollars, you have Coca-Cola dollars, right? You have money that is controlled by a corporation. Or do we go down the other future, where we have money that is basically an internet protocol that is completely global, that any person can pay any person, they meet in the streets without any corporations getting involved, just from me to you, digital cash. And that's really it's a less optimistic view, because I'm fully aware of what the other future is, and it's already playing out. And it is in my opinion, a very dangerous future.
Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. Corporate news, culture, matic warfare will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming to Nostr using Zap.Stream. We're figuring out how to post the videos natively. Bear with us, but yes, we are streaming to Nostr. We posted the Zap.Stream link on the Simply Bitcoin Nostr account. So go follow it, or Nostr. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but you guys know what I'm saying. I'm still a Nostr noob. But yes, we're broadcasting worldwide, YouTube, Rumble, X, Nostr now too. Very, very bullish. Anyways, starting off with the beginning clip of Andreas Antonopoulos. He played such a crucial role in my orange pilling journey. I used to watch his lectures on repeat over and over and over and over again. And I used to have like so many eureka aha moments about Bitcoin, because back then there really wasn't that much Bitcoin content. It's not like today. Back in the day, when I got in 2016, it was few and far between. Now it's a lot more developed these days. So what's interesting, a couple of things. He talks about essentially Bitcoiner slavery, something that we talk a lot about on this show. There's two worlds in front of us. There's a world of central bank digital currencies, which is the future of fiat. And there's a world of Bitcoin, the separation of money and state, which is going to allow hope, peace, prosperity, opportunity, And the future of central bank digital currencies, the future of fiat, is a future based on coercion and censorship. And the reason for that is simple. We read you guys a post from Jeff Booth on Nostr yesterday. If the international based order is set upon a money that is based on theft, that system is going to require coercion and censorship to get people to go along with that said system. It goes hand in hand. Like, why do you think they want to censor? Why do you think they want to coerce? Because it's a system based on theft. And I don't think naturally human beings are okay with that. I think that they obfuscate it a lot. They use these complex words and complex jargon. The way that they talk about inflation, it's like as if it's a fact of life. It's part of Mother Nature. And you see these questions to these politicians like, what are you going to do about the grocery bill? Like, they are single-handedly responsible for that. And people are not aware of this. So they rely on the media. They rely, frankly, on propaganda. They rely on misinformation to keep people in the dark about the truth of money. And that's our job as Bitcoiners, really, to get the message out there, break the Bitcoin echo chamber, and really get people to understand that money can exist without theft baked into it. The farther you get away from the developed world, where the inflation rate is ever so slight for people not to realize they're being just stolen from, the less that veneer of legitimacy works on people. When you're dealing with hyperinflation or double-digit inflation and the government is on TV telling you that it's your patriotic duty to use your local currency, you don't believe them anymore. So we're going to do a special coverage of the debate tonight. We're going to focus on Bitcoin. We're not going to get into all the other political issues. And Opti and I are going to react to it. I think Sophie's going to join us as well. It's going to be an X, Rumble, and Nostr exclusive because we might say some things that are not YouTube friendly. So really looking forward to that. Also, Jack Mallers had a debate with Peter Schiff in regards to how Bitcoin is superior to gold. I can't believe we're even having this discussion. But TLDR, essentially, look, I'm a fan of gold. I'll be honest with you. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of physical gold, gold that I can hold in my hand. But do I believe that gold is superior to Bitcoin? No. Do I believe that you can build a sound money system or sound money society on top of gold? No. Because of gold's physical characteristics, it is essentially limited on how it could be used. You can't send gold immediately across the globe for pennies on the dollar. You're going to have to send a paper version of that gold, right? But you're not going to actually be able to send that physical gold internationally, overseas, instantaneously at the speed of light. It's not going to happen. So because of those reasons, because of gold's physical characteristics, it failed and it was eventually co-opted. And by the way, this isn't just the story in the United States. This happened back in the Roman era as well. When the Roman currency, the denarius, first was released, it first came out, the amount, and they didn't use, they used silver instead of gold, but a rare metal, right? A scarce metal, better said. The amount of silver in each denarius, I think it was like 0.85% or 0.9%. By the time of the Roman Empire, the downfall of the Western Roman Empire, it was down to like 0.00000. Like it was a minuscule amount. So they inflated the currency, and you could make a very strong case that the reason as to why the downfall of the Roman Empire occurred, one of the major reasons was inflation. So this is a story that has repeated itself throughout human history, but for the first time, we have a technology, and that only Bitcoin, that fundamentally solves this problem if enough people wake up to the reality of the power that self-custody gives the individual. And I posted this on Nostr and Twitter this morning. If enough of us take self-custody, we win, and there's nothing they can do about it. And what's very powerful about this movement is that we are not relying on a politician to swoop in and come and save the day. This is something that each of us as sovereign individuals could start doing now. Buying Bitcoin, earning Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin, and taking that said Bitcoin into self-custody right now. We can start doing this now. We don't have to wait to the result of the election. We don't have to wait for Trump to come in and save the day, or if you believe in Kamala, to come in and save the day. You could start saving your own day by earning, mining, and saving in fiat. And by doing so, you are now living on a unit of account, a currency that is inherently deflationary, meaning your life and everything around you, housing, food, whatever, it's going to get progressively cheaper for you over time compared to everyone else around you that for whatever reason continues to use political money, also known as fiat. So something to keep in mind as we watch the debate tonight. The answer to a lot of the world's problems isn't a politician. The answer to a lot of the world's problems is broken money. That being said, all that being said, still, depending on which politicians get elected into office, this could either accelerate hyper-Bitcoinization or decelerate it. So that's not to say that fiat politics isn't important. It still plays an important role during this transitionary era. I can't emphasize that enough. This is the first Bitcoin election in the United States. But what I do want to emphasize is that you can start taking control. You can start taking control of your destiny today. You don't have to wait for anybody. And that's the power of Bitcoin. Anyways, I do want to welcome our panel for today. Of course, we have Carr, the founder of PlebLab, and we have Optimus Fields in the house today. Man, Opti, I think this is going to be our first live reaction to a fiat political debate. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. I am literally bursting out of my seams ready to do this stream. No, it's going to be whack. It's going to be so whack. Yeah, I'm not happy about it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a horrible debate, but hey, we got to do it for the culture. We'll see what happens. It should be fun anyways, but yeah, I'm not that excited. I've been watching too much politics lately. I watched the DNC, the RNC, the last debate, and man, it's just clown world personified, and it is horrible, and it's not fun, and it's not even exciting. So yeah, it's not going to be great at all. It's literally going to be bad. But anyways, I'm kind of excited about the Zap stream. Nico just literally, silent launched this Zap stream on me, and shouts out to Darth Coin. He zapped us 121 sats already. So this is pretty cool. We got 20 people over there on Zap stream. That's dope. This is awesome. And yeah, on another note, I am totally cooked right now. My back hurts. I feel like a boomer. I'm struggling to even sit up right now. But hey, the show goes on. Anyways. Carr, what's up, bro? One sec. Am I here? Yes. Carr, I am super excited for today's culture. Let's talk about PlebLab real quick. For everyone out there that doesn't know what PlebLab is, give a little TLDR. What is PlebLab and what is the goal with PlebLab? And then we'll go deep dive on the culture.
Yeah, it's kind of what Nico was saying at the top of the show with the Andreas clip. It's about decentralizing the world and making sure Bitcoin is the primary currency to do that. One of the things that we do here at PlebLab is we have a hackerspace with builders who are all self-sovereign. A lot of them don't want to be doxxed. A lot of them want to keep their privacy, so we allow them to pay with Bitcoin directly to us. So we're kind of like the shield, as you would say, for these builders to create in peace and be able to do the things that they want to do. So it's very much that ethos, the core, hardcore Bitcoin ethos. And yeah, I think on the monthly, we try to do our best to get more developers and more projects inside the lab and try to help them in any way we can, whether that's getting them connected to people like y'all or getting them connected to other people in the space that can provide them grants or provide them some sort of upfront Bitcoin to help them get started on their path for their project. And yeah, I'm super excited with what we've been doing for the past 4 years here in Austin. And I'm looking forward to doing another 4 this next cycle.
Oh, man, I'm excited. I love Bitcoiners building, man. Bitcoiners building is how we win. We got the smartest and brightest people on our side. And of course, most importantly, we have incentives on our side, and all they have left is lies, misrepresentation, and coercion. So it's something to keep in mind, something very, very important. Anyways, guys, before we jump into the show, I do want to give a very special shout out to our lead sponsor. Of course, I'm talking about Bitcoin Well. Bitcoin Well is the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack. Buy real Bitcoin, enable your independence with the fastest and safest way to buy Bitcoin in Canada and the USA. To get started, all you got to do is put in your email address. It takes about 2 to 5 minutes to get verified, and bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to buy automatic self-custody Bitcoin. What does that mean? It means that when you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, you can't even leave it on the exchange. As soon as the funds clear, it goes straight to your self-custody Bitcoin wallet address, which perfectly aligns with the Simply Bitcoin ethos of the separation of money and state. By the way, every time you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, you earn Bitcoin Well points, and you could use those points towards the Bitcoin Wishing Well contest for an opportunity to win up to 1 million Satoshis every time you toss a coin into the Bitcoin Wishing Well. So we're going to do that live for you guys right now. And well, bam, first person to scan the QR code wins 500 sats. If you use promo code simplybtc to sign up to bitcoinwell.com today, you get 3 tosses into the Bitcoin Wishing Well absolutely free. Support self-custody by default Bitcoin on-ramps. Head over to bitcoinwell.com today to get started. All right, everybody, let's hit the numbers. All right, everybody. Usually when you buy a hardware wallet, it comes with a piece of paper. And that's where you're meant to write down your seed words. Unfortunately, paper is prone to water damage. It could be burned in a fire. Your dog could eat it. You don't want to store your generational wealth on a piece of paper, which is why we recommend our sponsor, Stamp Seed. It's literally a titanium seed phrase storage kit. It's fireproof. It's waterproof. Your dog's probably not going to want to eat a plate of titanium. It comes with everything you need. The letter stamping tools, the hammer, the anvil, and the plate. So you could literally proof of work your seed into a plate of titanium, which is going to survive the test of time. This is the right way to store your seed words. Do it the right way. Don't be lazy, because at the end of the day, your seed words are literally your Bitcoin. So you literally want to stamp them on a piece of titanium. You don't want to write them down on paper. Don't put yourself in that position. Head over to stampseed.com today. Buy yourself a kit, and if you use promo code SIMPLY, you get 15% off anything on their website. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $56,910. Sats per dollar, 1,757. Block height, 860,775. Blocks to halving, 189,225. Halving estimate, March 23rd, 2028. Total Lightning Network capacity, 4,939 BTC. Capacity value, 281 million. Realized monetary inflation, 1.39%. Market capitalization, 1.12 trillion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 6.47%. So in the opening monologue, I was talking about money. What is money? And once you start going down this rabbit hole, the inevitable question that you're going to lead to is not what is money. The question that you're going to lead to is, what is government? What is the role of the state? What do they do for me? And you could see the cognitive dissonance when you see fiat economists talking about this, and you see them like short circuit a little bit, and you see them get upset when they say it can't be money. Bitcoin can't be money. You see this from central bankers, you see this from politicians. And here's the reality check. Bitcoin is currently sitting at $56,907. I've used Bitcoin to purchase many things in my life using Lightning or using on-chain. Is that not money? Like, am I not using it as money? So the market determines what money is, not politicians. And Unfortunately, for people that have, drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak, that's a very hard pill to swallow. Because for the first time, the state can't shut it down because of its decentralized nature. And because the state can't shut it down, it's going to be forced to compete with it. And when you have state money, which is censored and inflated, versus decentralized money, which is censorship resistant and deflationary, you're going to figure out very quickly who's going to win that over the long term. Go and try to send a wire transfer and then send a Bitcoin transaction. You'll realize extremely quickly how this ends. But remember, to use Jeff Booth's words, the international rules-based order. A lot of the systems of control that the government has built has been built on the idea of always being able to put pressure on the middleman. The problem is for them is whether it comes to information, mass scale peer-to-peer communications, or mass scale peer-to-peer transactions. There is no middleman to co-opt, but their system has not adjusted to that. Anyways, I'm giving context to this video before I play it. I think Max Kaiser has a really good point here. Money existed before the state. Bitcoin separates money from the state. Bitcoin ends the state. Not only is David MCW, it stands for David McWilliams, an economist, podcaster, and author, view on money daft, his views on the state make no sense either. No state money has ever escaped losing 99 to 100% of its purchasing power. Let's check out the clip. It's about 1 minute and 13 seconds.
You talk about cryptocurrency, you talk about Bitcoin, and you sound a fairly significant warning.
One of the key points in the book is that over thousands of years, one of the essential arguments has been between private money and public money. Real money is always public, issued by the state or an agent of the state. Private money, as in cryptocurrency, can only enrich those people who print the money. And if Anton Savage had Anton Savage coin and you print it, who'd get rich? Anton. You would actually get rich if you think about it, right? So at the core of the monetary system is the idea that money is as much part of the state as the Gardaí are, as the Irish Army is, as the tax system is, right? This is the state. You cannot divorce money from the state. Why? It's too important.
Yet we are told that cryptocurrency achieves exactly that and is democracy in currency form.
Cryptocurrency is lots of things, but it's not currency and it's not money. It is a speculative asset that goes up, goes down. As I said in the book, look, I'm not giving people financial advice. If you want to buy crypto, away you go. But don't tell me it's money. Because if you tell me it's money, you don't understand money.
I would say he doesn't understand money. I would say that he can't comprehend it. He has come to the conclusion, but he can't comprehend a world where the state isn't in control of money. So let's rebuke a lot of his points. First point that he made, which is this idea of public and private. Guys, I'm telling you right now, that is BS. Why? Has anyone ever audited the Fed? No. Can you create more dollars? No, you go to jail. That's like counterfeiting. Can you audit every transaction on a public ledger? No. Can anyone mine Bitcoin? Yeah. Could anyone run the Bitcoin software? Yeah. Could anyone audit it at any time? Yeah. Does anyone have any special privileges within the Bitcoin network? No. What sounds more public and what sounds more private to you? And he said the quiet part out loud when he was talking about shitcoins, which is why Bitcoin is so different than altcoins. An altcoin doesn't solve the problem of fiat. It just moves the problem of fiat from the government to a foundation or to a founder, which is no one should have the ability to create money for free that another human being has to work for. The fundamental issue with altcoins, from the revolutionary standpoint, is that altcoin founders and developers will change the rules to benefit themselves just as the government does. What Bitcoiners have realized is that no one should deserve special privileges. Everyone should be equal in that sense. So he's coming to the realization that, holy crap, like, it is extremely important that the government continues to have that monopoly on money. I don't think the government in its current form can exist without having its monopoly on money. And therefore, in his mind, he just blocks it out and he just says, it can't be money. Reality check. It's not for you to determine, or any central bank or any country or any government to determine what is money and what is not money. The market is going to do that on its own. And by the way, already in El Salvador, they made Bitcoin legal tender, through democracy. So in El Salvador, if you want to go down that route, it's already determined as money. So who are you to say, as someone living in the West, that what El Salvador did, choosing a money that they wanted to define as money, is not money? Who are you to say that? What he's really protecting and what he's really advocating for is, I want the system, this special system where a bureaucratic elite in Washington, D.C. have the very special privilege of being able to control and issue money at will. And that system is now being threatened by something that is decentralized and can't be shut down. So therefore, that system in Washington, D.C. is going to have to compete with Bitcoin. And it doesn't like competition. It hates competition because fundamentally it's a system based on theft. But I love watching them squirm in the process. Like he couldn't, like he could not comprehend it. You could see he was like, it's just not money. This is impossible. Like, only the state should have the ability to do that. And then he tries to commingle the word public with the word, no. Fiat is private. The Bitcoin is public. That's the reality, right? So anyways, that's my take on that. I love to play those types of things because those are the types of people that, those are the types of people that are going to come out. They're going to hate Bitcoin. They're going to try to stop it, not because of Bitcoin's characteristics or the benefit that Bitcoin's going to bring, but because they're advocating for a system of special privileges, a system based on theft and coercion. That's what they're advocating for when you advocate for fiat. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to Carr. Carr, you have an amazing background behind you, so I'm sure you feel very, very passionately about what that gentleman had to say. What are your thoughts?
I think you just hit it on the head, Nico. I think the biggest problem with it is like Jerome Powell can just press a button and wipes away everybody's hard work for the week. Do you know what I mean? Like he can literally just print money at will from his desk. And to me, that's just like not acceptable. I mean, we can work really hard as builders here in the ecosystem, and we can work for every sat that we have. And fundamentally, we all know that, hey, there's more work to be done and we can have those conversations. But honestly, this world that they're kind of in right now, just printing money and wiping away everybody's hard work for the week, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
100%. No, it doesn't make, I don't think it makes any sense to anyone. Opti, like it doesn't make sense if you wake up like and you see people kind of struggling with it and trying to come to terms with it, because it's a very tough pill to swallow. Could you imagine that? Like you've been working your entire life for these dollars, and then you realize that the entire system is based on theft and it's based on a lie. People don't understand what money is. And people still believe that inflation is somehow like a fact of nature. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, my first thought is just the amount of status academic cope that I just heard was off the chart, over 9,000. I'm happy that these people do the mental gymnastics to try to say that Bitcoin isn't money and they never hold Bitcoin. Honestly, I think this is a feature, not a bug. So I thought that was kind of hilarious, especially the part where he's saying, what do you say? Like, if I created my own coin, I would print it and then I would get rich. It's like, does this guy even understand how fiat currencies work? That's literally what's going on with dollars and whatever, the pound. it's all paper money, you know, fiat money, which is literally money by the decree of the government, and they can print more of it. And the people at the top get richer because they're closer to the money printer. Like, he literally just described the fiat system and then painted it on cryptocurrencies. And I agree. This is why we are Bitcoin only, because Bitcoin had the immaculate conception, because everyone that participates in the Bitcoin network is equal on the Bitcoin network. And so I, to a certain extent, kind of agree with him, but what he just painted really only relates to fiat currencies and altcoins. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin. And of course, I'm a free market maxi. I agree that there shouldn't be a cabal of government officials that control the monetary network. It's just simple economics. I don't think that any small group of people have all of the information to control the economy in a good way. Any amount of control over the economy is going to cause inadvertent effects, and then they will just continue to manipulate it. And this is the future of Bitcoin. Bitcoin will end financial engineering, and this is the future that we're heading into. And especially if you relate this to the cold open of Andreas Antonopoulos, we are heading into a digital world. It already is digital. Fiat money is already digital. And we really have two paths ahead of us. It is either a digital currency, a CBDC, that is controlled by a small cabal of people, that has expiration dates, that can be censored, that, you know, can really kick you off the network, or another one that none of those features are a part of. There is a permissionless, censorship-resistant money that all you have to do is choose to participate in it. It is freedom money. It is Bitcoin. So personally, man, I maybe it's because my back's hurting and I feel like a boomer today, and I'm like, look, have fun playing with your paper money, with your government debt IOUs. Like, we don't need you where we're going. You will get it eventually. But it really just goes to show that if people are listening to these academics, these statist Keynesian economists, and this guy works for the Economist, like the magazine, and it's ridiculous that this is where we are. So hopefully people aren't listening to him, but I think people are listening to him because he has the academic background, that he has that legitimacy. But man, it's just beautiful. Like, I love speculating. I love speculating on life and then being proven right, and just continuing to show the world that, hey, you may not think Bitcoin is money. That's fine by me, but it is my money, and I will continue to save and use the better money. It's just that simple. Have fun.
100%, 100%. Also, shout out. I didn't expect so many live viewers on Zap.stream, bro. And it's a lively chat. So shout out to the Bitcoiners that are watching us there. And of course, we posted that on our Nostr as well. So really, really warming up to that as well. I see Lightning Goats, Darth Coin, I apologize for taking so long. I'm a media person, not really a tech person, but I figured it out over the weekend. And we're going to continue to drop even more content on Nostr as well, so stay tuned. Anyways, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, Rumble, X, Nostr, I don't know if you could like it, but make sure to smash that like button. Really, really helps push the message forward. And of course, if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to share the video as well. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about Jack Mallers debating Peter Schiff during the news segment. So let's check it out. Here we go.
Special shout out to our sponsor, Compass Mining. They make Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone, from beginners to experienced investors. Their turnkey miners gets you online and hashing within 48 hours, making it easier than ever to start your mining journey. Plus, with their active marketplace, you can resell your miner at any time, adding flexibility and value to your investment. Visit their website to access a wealth of resources, learning everything you need to know about Bitcoin mining. Take your first step into the world of Bitcoin mining with confidence. Discover more at compassmining.io. Again, compassmining.io, and see how Compass Mining can power your success. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US, and it integrates seamlessly with their free app called Envoy. Passport is fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a classic feature phone, so you'll know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. It's also air-gapped, meaning Bitcoin stays offline, never touching an internet connection. It's Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, air-gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes with Passport at foundation.xyz/simply. Get peace of mind for your piece of Bitcoin.
All right, everybody, if you scan the QR code on your screen right now, it'll take you directly to the Passport by Foundation Devices website. And by the way, if you use promo code SIMPLY, again, SIMPLY, you get a discount. Remember, not your keys, not your cheese. All right, everybody, so let's talk about this. I don't even know why this is still a debate. I can't comprehend it. This is like, what is going on? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like, speak about it, like the cognitive dissonance. That's what it just reminds me of. It's like that guy talking in the podcast earlier, and then this. It's the same. It's like there's like clear cognitive dissonance here, and like there's reality staring you in the face. But because these things have been around for so long, like they're like, no, it can't. This magic internet money, it's impossible. Like I can't comprehend it. But like I think the data speaks for itself, right? The BTC per ounce of gold for the audio listeners, right back in 2010, it was, I think it's 1.5 million Satoshis per thing. And this thing just like just goes down and to the right. Now today it's 0.047 Bitcoin. I think that meant, like, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Is that 1 million Bitcoin per ounce? Anyways, the point is that this thing is just gone down, right? And then as you can see, the price of Bitcoin just continues to go up. So, I mean, I think the numbers speak for itself. For itself. I think everything goes to zero against Bitcoin, whether that's gold, whether that's the dollar, whether that is your, favorite stock, whether that is real estate. Like Bitcoin, this is what Saylor has been saying, like Bitcoin is the superior asset, full stop. It's because of its physical characteristics. It's because of its absolute scarcity. This isn't even a debate anymore. So the fact that Schiff is even doing this, is he doing this for likes? Is he doing it for like engagement? Maybe. But anyways, I'll play you guys the clip. This is from, I want to give credit to, I think this is David Lin's YouTube channel. So shout out to him. This is his work. We're going to play you a clip of Jack Mallers debating Peter Schiff, and then we'll react to it. Let's check it out.
Is that unfortunately it has to centralize. The problem is that gold can't achieve transaction finality without the help of a government or a central party, meaning that when gold was operating in a local economy, and you can exchange the physical coins with your direct counterpart for your butcher, your local tailor, your grocer, whoever you were exchanging with, gold was great. When the world needed to scale an economy and the velocity of money larger than your local economy, gold failed us. Gold failed us because gold is just a bare physical metal. It does not carry a monetary network. What's the gold network? The gold network are human beings. And when you're trying to transact in an economy of billions of people globally, you are reliant on central parties, banks, governments. And it was for that reason that gold failed. And it failed in a way that you can't operate a truly free market when the concentrated supply is with those that you have to trust. And so that's fundamentally what Bitcoin solved, is that you are able to create a scarce bearer instrument and a network that can achieve finality in transactional settlement without the reliance on any government or central party. So that, I think, is extremely, that's really the core issue of why gold's been demonetized since. I think on the points of Bitcoin like needing more history and it's young. I mean, I think that sounds like a personal problem for you, Peter. Like that, I think you need more evidence, and that's you being slow to recognize reality, right? Like if you were to need the internet to prove that email is better than traditional mail, you would just be late to adopting better technology. That doesn't sound like, that's not a point or a criticism against the properties that Bitcoin has. That's your own personal bias of how much proof that you need to adopt something that might be superior. So that's on you. And the last thing I will say on Bitcoin's volatility, for the listeners, I really think it's an important fundamental point. Risk is not the same thing as volatility. Risk refers to the probability of a permanent loss of capital. Risk would be that the Bitcoin code or the Bitcoin network outright fails. You can make an argument that Bitcoin's actually the least risky asset ever because it's the only asset you can store in your head. Bitcoin is, however, extremely volatile. And I will admit that, but that's a pro. Volatility is the frequency or like the magnitude of which the price fluctuates. And so Bitcoin, hold on. I'm almost done. I promise, 30 seconds. The point here, David, is that Bitcoin has to be volatile because the asset is inelastic. Because the asset cannot, with more demand in Bitcoin, you cannot make more supply. More demand has to fundamentally be a higher price. Whereas for all other commodities and all other assets, with more supply, you can make more demand, which makes them less volatile, but also makes them, I just went over the returns in the data, which also makes the returns not nearly what we're seeing in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin volatility is baked into the system because it's a fixed asset. So as it becomes adopted as a money globally, volatility is implied, but volatility is also the only reason that Bitcoin's averaging 100% year over year growth over the last decade and gold's at 2%. So, and volatility is not risk. Because Bitcoin's volatile, it doesn't make it risky. It makes it an opportunity.
So first of all, I want to give a shout out to the original creator.
The real problem with gold.
Pause that. David Lin, this is, if you guys want to check out the entire show, go check out David Lin's podcast or YouTube channel. Great content creator and also awesome for putting together that debate. So I want to give credit where credit is due. But Jack Mallers just completely like annihilating Peter Schiff, like coming with the facts to the point where Peter Schiff was like, he started laughing at one point because he was like, what, like, I don't even know what to say to this. And this is what we were talking about in terms of gold's physical characteristics enabled it for it to be co-opted. And this is the problem that Bitcoin fixes, because you can send Bitcoin instantaneously to anyone, anywhere around the world. It's even more scarce than gold. It allows a custody in a very efficient manner that actually benefits the individual over a third party. And if you connect this with the video that we played for you guys during the numbers segment, this is such a transformative technology that it is, I would say, and this is very controversial when I say this to Bitcoiners, because Bitcoiners are like, no, Nico, leave politics out of this. But my response to that is the separation of money and state by definition is political, right? Like that is political, right? What is the definition of politics? The definition of politics is the organization of power. And all of a sudden, now that you have the balance of power shifting from the state back to the individual, of course, there's going to be a little bit of strife there. That's why you're seeing elements of the government, it's not monolithic, but elements of certain governments react in such a hostile manner towards Bitcoin because they see it as a fundamental threat. Just as the gentleman in the first video pointed out, he's like, he saw it. He saw the writing on the wall. He's like, it's so instrumental to the state. Like, I can't even comprehend a world where money and state aren't connected, because it changes everything. Like, think about this for a second, right? And specifically in the United States. If you live in Florida and if you live in California, or you live in Florida and someone lives in North Dakota, I'm sure the people in North Dakota are dope and they're awesome. But what's keeping everyone together? Why can't Florida be its own thing, its own state? Why can't it just function its own? It's the dollar. What's keeping the federal government together? It's the dollar, right? So what happens if all of a sudden 5, 10, 15% of the population are no longer using the dollar because it's an inferior currency? What happens? Because to give the gold bugs credit where credit is due, they correctly identified the problem, but they didn't choose the right tool. And the right tool is Bitcoin. I mean, I think it was Hayek, that famous video of him going viral, right? Which is, we need to find a clever roundabout way to get money out of the hands of government. And Satoshi found that clever roundabout way. And it could only be achieved via decentralization. And this is where gold failed. It was co-opted because of its physical characteristics, limited its ability for individuals on a massive scale to take self-custody of it, and also it limits them from them being able to transact with it in a global manner. So it created this centralization in a way, and you're kind of seeing it with the Coinbase custody of all these ETFs. But still, the vast majority of Bitcoin is still held by individuals, right? So yeah, will Bitcoin survive that final boss test? I think it will, in my personal opinion. But that test is still yet to come. I think we're in the separation of information and state kind of battle right now. This is what you're seeing it on the internet. You're seeing Rumble get deplatformed. It just got banned in Brazil. And you're seeing a pressure on Elon, and you're seeing the rise of Nostr. And what I think the battle next coming, like it's you're seeing the first innings of it with Operation Choke Point 2.0, is the separation of money and state. And in my personal opinion, I think that fight is going to be a lot nastier, because as that guy pointed out in that first video, he said it himself. He's like, it is so important. Like his eyes even popped out. He's like, it is so important. I would say, yeah, it is extremely important for how the government is run today in a very inefficient manner for them to retain their monopoly on money. But I don't think they really have a choice in this. I think, Bitcoin is an idea more than anything. And I think as more and more people wake up to the fact that money can exist without inflation baked in, I think that's a one-way door. You don't go back from that. That's my personal opinion. I'm going to pass it on to Carr. Carr, what are your thoughts on Jack Mallers absolutely balling?
Yeah, Jack's a goat. I mean, he literally explained to Peter Schiff why Bitcoin works fundamentally for the rest of the world. Maybe it doesn't work for Peter, but it does work for everybody else. I think you hit on a couple things there, Nico, I want to touch on. I think the CBDC is their way of keeping people still locked in, because it's another you can obfuscate another layer on top of the already debased currency. So I think that's why they're so adamant about rolling through CBDCs. I think another thing that you touched on too as well is about the decentralization aspects of it. I think the incentives over time will just prove that Bitcoin will win. And I think it's definitely going to get nasty. And I think they're definitely going to start pulling more content to kind of quiet down how you have a Bitcoin wallet, how you have a Lightning wallet, how you do these kind of things. But I do think over time, the incentives will just outweigh the need to want to have a CBDC. I think if somebody came in tomorrow and said, "Carr, do you want Bitcoin or dollars?" I would say Bitcoin. And I think over time that will just prove to be true for everybody.
100%. I completely agree with that. Opti, what's your take on all this, brother?
Well, I am once again here saying, why do we listen to Peter Schiff? Why do we give him any airtime? I am personally on the camp that Peter Schiff is just playing a role. It's his job to shill gold. It's his business to try to say that gold is, the money of the future, whatever his recent narratives are. But Jack Mallers, kudos to him for actually taking on that debate and thoroughly destroying Peter Schiff. But again, I think Peter Schiff sees the writing on the wall. It kind of reminds me of that one saying, it's hard to convince a guy of the truth when it's his job to know the lie, or whatever it is. You guys have heard it 1,000 times on this show. So this is what I see when I see Peter Schiff. It's like Schadenfreude. It's like literally, or what's it? He's live action role playing WWF wrestling. Every time I see him talking about gold, You can tell that he, at least personally, it seems to me that he agrees with a lot of the stuff we say, especially when you consider that I forget if it's his father or his grandfather, but he's comes from a long line of libertarian thinkers. And so you'd have to venture to guess that he really does understand a lot of the stuff that us Bitcoiners talk about, but it's his job to shill it's his job to shill gold. Hence why he always goes out and he parades himself for the boomers out there that want to hold something. And it's like, no, guys, trust me, gold is the money of the future. And we're going to go back to a gold standard. With like completely ignoring the fact that personally, in my opinion, and maybe you guys can push back against this, like gold failed as a monetary medium. Yes, it's still a store of value. Yes, it's still a hedge against dollar inflation, but it's failed as money in the digital world. And this is why Bitcoin is a 10x improvement on gold, is because it is a digital world. We live in a world that is never going to go back to a time that there is no internet. Hence why we as Bitcoiners believe that there needs to be an internet native money, which is Bitcoin. And as much as I personally do like gold, not so much as a monetary medium, but I just think it's pretty. And I've joked before on the show that I can't wait till gold gets demonetized and I have a gaudy house full of gold.
I like, I'm going to keep saying this. Like, I love gold. Like,
I have a gold chain, you know, I got a gold chain.
Those gold, I have a silver one. You know those like gold, those gold bars, like they feel really good to hold in your hand. Like I'm not kidding.
Sure.
Like,
I agree with that.
I love gold. Like gold is dope, but
can you send that gold bar through the internet?
No, but this is what I'm trying to tell you is that like gold is dope. Like I'm not like gold is dope, but is it better than Bitcoin? No. Would I rather hold Bitcoin? Absolutely, 1,000,000% every single time. But I'm not like it's still dope though. Like it's still cool. Like I like the feel. I like holding it. Like what you said, Opti's gonna just gold out his entire house.
It's in my soul to like gold, but it's not my money. You know,
it's dope. I'm not shitting on it. And also I want to give a shout out to the gold bugs because like they did so much work and so much heavy lifting identifying all of these problems, and it just like it's a little bit tragic in a way that it's like they got everything right, but they just didn't have the right tool. Like they were before their time, you know, and it takes a lot of humility for you to double down on something for like 20, 30 years. And then all of a sudden something comes along, which is the correct tool that you need to use in order to achieve the outcome that you wanted. But it's very hard. Like that's a, you know, I love I forget who originally says that, but Bitcoin is a humility test. Like it is a humility test, and everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. So it's a little bit difficult. Like I empathize with it a little bit, but at the same time, like Peter Schiff, bro, like it's been 10 effing years, dude. Like it's been 10 years, and you're just gonna continue to get humbled, bro. Like just it's okay to admit it. Like we will welcome you in, you know, but some people have big egos, and it's very difficult.
And and last 2 points. Last year, very publicly, Peter Schiff got debanked. And all Bitcoiners were like, see, this is why you need Bitcoin. And one of the big things that you constantly hear Peter Schiff say is no one's accepting Bitcoin because it's not money. Yet he literally accepts Bitcoin and shitcoins on his website for gold. It's just, there's just way too much hypocrisy coming out of Peter Schiff for me personally not to think that he understands what is going on, especially when we had the theater art of him and his son kind of going back and forth on Twitter where he was pro Bitcoin, he's anti Bitcoin, and it's entertaining, but I'm convinced he understands Bitcoin. He probably holds some Bitcoin. It's just his job to shill gold. And yeah, like gold's pretty, I love it, but it's not my money. It's just not going to be the money of the future. And gold's just impractical in the digital world for most people. Yes, central banks are acquiring as much gold as possible, but the real game is acquiring as much Bitcoin as possible. And all of us young people are like, hey, have fun with your pretty rocks, boomer. Like, I got this digital currency called Bitcoin. It's better.
100%. Also, shout out to Zap.stream. There's 140 of you guys watching us live. So shout out to you guys. That's pretty big for alternative platforms for us. So that's pretty huge.
Damn, also, it's nuking Rumble.
Shout out to the 100 of you guys watching us on Rumble. Shout out to almost 300 of you guys watching us on YouTube. And shout out to the 951 of you guys watching us on Twitter. Make sure to smash that like button if you guys are enjoying the show. I'm quite surprised with Zap.stream, man. Hitting out the gate strong. Opti and I used to go over the moon, breaking over 100 likes on a live show. We would freak the F out. The fact that we hit it the first day, man, that's awesome. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much for the support. And thank you for bearing with us, because I've been quietly working in the background trying to figure out all this stuff out. I'm super glad that we got it working today. And of course, we'll be back on Nostr tomorrow as well. And hopefully what we're trying to do essentially is being able to upload the live shows natively onto like these platforms, but it's a little bit complicated. We're figuring it out. Bear with us. For the moment, we're going to continue on Zap.stream. Anyways, guys, stay tuned because we still got the culture segment coming up. We're going to talk to Carr, and we're going to talk about his baby, PlebLab. What is PlebLab? What are they doing over there? And let's check it out. Here we go. All right, everybody, I do want to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, the Orange Pill app. Stack friends who stack sats. Join the 12,233 Bitcoiners that are currently on the application. To get started, all you got to do is check out the QR code on your screen or check the link in the video description or podcast description and join the 12,233 Bitcoiners that are currently on the app. The Orange Pill app is your number one resource for Bitcoin-only events. Also, if you're traveling, you're on the go, perhaps you've lived in your city for a while and you don't know any Bitcoiners around you, you pull up the Orange Pill app and it will literally tell you geographically the Bitcoiners around you. And it will allow you to send them a DM directly. So you can build up the amount of Bitcoiners that you know, those circular economies. That's what it's all about, building that Bitcoin community. It's also one of the best ways to reach me directly. Don't really answer random Twitter DMs these days or emails, but on the Orange Pill app, I make sure to get back to every single one of you guys every week or so. The messages are piling up, so forgive me, it takes me a while, but I will get back to you. Download the Orange Pill app today, scan the QR code on your screen, or check the link in the video description. Anyways, I'm so happy that we got Carr in the house today. He was pitching us on Austin earlier. I'm just gonna reveal a little bit of backroom talk. Green room talk. We're currently divided a little bit right now between Nashville and Austin. I think you
got to give people a little more context here, Nico.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so guys, I guess breaking on the show, we do plan on eventually.
No, don't say that. Don't give that much detail, but give enough detail.
Where should Simply Bitcoin move?
Yeah, boom. Right.
So Nashville or Austin?
So Nashville or Austin. And Carr was being really nice, and now I'm in the Nashville camp. You know, I'm a member of Bitcoin Park. I think I'm member 22. And Carr is making me feel really good about Austin now. And now I'm like, Austin, the real estate's a little bit cheaper over there, but get bigger house. Maybe go over there. So kind of on the fence. Let us know down in the comments. Actually, Opti, let's set up a YouTube poll right now while we talk about this.
All right.
Where should Simply Bitcoin move? We're going to set up the poll on YouTube right now, and on Rumble and Nostr and Twitter, just put it in the chat and we'll see it in the chat box. And then I'm just curious to hear what everyone has to say. Everyone is saying Austin, Nashville, Austin. Austin is unquestionably the Bitcoin capital of the world. The way that I see it is Austin is the Bitcoin energy capital of the world. Nashville is the Bitcoin media capital of the world. That's the way I'm seeing it. I might be wrong there. But everyone's saying Nashville, Austin, Phil C. Your comment, bro, savage. No, it doesn't matter, dude. There's, bro. I don't know.
Green
if I
Bay. All right. Anyways, we'll rehash this. All right,
anyway, let's get to it. I'm gonna pass it on to Opti.
Yeah, Car. Let's again, for now that everyone's piled in, we have a bunch of people watching the show live. Let's rehash TLDR, elevator pitch. What is PlebLab? What is the goal? And then we'll talk about some of the cool stuff you've been working on.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Is this real? There's 220 people watching us.
I have no idea. It's crazy.
That's nuts. Okay. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Okay. All right, Car. Again, what is PlebLab? What are you working on down there? And what's the goal? And then I do have your website up here so we can talk about some of the projects that came out. But first, let's do a TLDR elevator pitch on PlebLab.
Yeah, so we've been around since 2021. It's interesting that you guys bring up Nostr. We had Super Testnet back in the day, working on some Nostr stuff in late 21. So a lot of what you see, like that'll be coming out in a year or two, usually starts in around PlebLab, by osmosis. We have a lot of builders right now in the lab. So we're at Hackerspace here in Austin, Texas, here in the financial district, just like 2 blocks away from the Bitcoin Commons. A lot of people are working on the cutting edge of like Bitcoin stuff. So we have projects like Cascader, who are working on AI, Bitcoin adjacent technology stuff. We have Jippy, who's working on like a new gamification type of Bitcoin education app. We have Pleb Devs down there who's working on reintroducing a way to give devs the need that they need to build on Bitcoin. We have Base 58, which is Nifty 9. She's working on all sorts of core protocol, Lightning, and Bitcoin stuff. We have Keon Stacker News. He's working on creating the next Reddit using Lightning. And then we have people like Topher and Nick, who are just magnificent engineers in their own right, building on Bitcoin. So that's what we do here. We do our best to kind of shield these builders away from a lot of the fiat stuff that we see in our world. And I do my best to try to find new builders and bring them to PlebLabs to so that they can work with them and really get their projects to success. That's
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah, I was there in BitBlock Boom, I think. You guys threw like a after party, and I showed up and I was like, oh, this is super cool. But anyways, can people, like, what's the process of people joining PlebLab? I know you guys have a space. You guys work on hackathons. Actually, a lot of really great projects have came out of PlebLab, so that's just super awesome to see. But what's the process? Can anyone show up? Like, how does someone become a part of PlebLab?
Yeah, I mean, we could use all the support, and I appreciate you, Nico and Opti, for giving me the opportunity to come on the show and talk about it, because it's very hard to get our name out there. We're really hardcore Bitcoin ethos here in Austin, and so if you scroll to the bottom, Opti, there's a spot down there where they can join with the online builder pass. That $200 a month helps us a lot, keeps the lights on. We also have that other button right there. It's the $400 a month. That's what we charge for our desk here. And you can apply there. We used to have it open to everybody, but now we kind of have like a vetting thing. It kind of goes through everybody, making sure that it all passes, the smell test and stuff like that. But for the most part, if you just want to drop in anytime, get that builder pass, you can join our chat, and then you get access to the lab. That one's been selling pretty good this cycle. So that's the one that we've been pushing. But yeah, that's pretty much the process to it.
Let's go. Awesome, bro. Okay. Let's talk about some of these hackathons. You were telling me you have a few hackathons in the books. And actually, let's just talk about the ethos of like an everyday hackathon that you guys have at PlebLab. So maybe start with the ethos, and then we can talk about the couple events that you are about to put on for different hackathons regarding or relating to PlebLab.
Yeah, so we're really engrossed in the Bitcoin builder community here at PlebLab. So a lot of people will come here, whether it's like a core Lightning team or anybody that Nifty Nay brings in to work on some of this protocol stuff. We open our doors to people outside of that too as well, whether they're building on Lightning and they're visiting from like Japan or from other countries, and we allow them to come in here and work on their projects. And so there's always a sort of hacking or sort of like a hive mind effect of building going on here in the lab. And we just do our best just to be good stewards of that and encourage them and give them all the things that they need, right? Like you'd be surprised, just like a good pat on the back or keep going and, some Topo Chicos like goes a long way. It's really is that kind of grind, because a lot of what they do in the ecosystem they don't really get awards or anything like that. There's no kind of like money doing it. They're really doing it for the Bitcoin ethos, and they're doing it to really decentralize the world using Bitcoin. And that's what I really love about the people that I work around.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. I mean, we've been doing our best to try to get as many developers on the show because you guys, the devs out there, the ones actually building stuff, are the unsung heroes, and it doesn't have the glory of maybe being, you know, a well-paid miner or a talking head influencer, but you guys are the one actually building stuff. And I'm always like, the builders are the ones that really matter. Nico and I just talk about Bitcoin stuff. I'm always more impressed by people building cool stuff, because that's what we really need, is people building out the tools that we need to actually usher in the Bitcoin world that we want to see. And so kudos to you and everyone else. But let's talk about some of these hackathons, because you're telling me you're going to have a startup day.
Yeah, so
you have a hackathon coming up soon. So let's talk about those details.
Yeah, so if you scroll at the very top, there's a startup day button at the very top. We're going to be in Mexico City next week. There'll be some new projects coming out of there. Some on Nostr, some on Bitcoin, some on Lightning. If you scroll a little down, Opti, there it shows all the people that are coming. But yeah, we're gonna have presentations, talks. Johnny Ochoa, who's a local chef here in town, will be there. We'll be doing a keynote from Francisco, who's doing a Bitcoin only exchange in Mexico and Latin America. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Highly recommend, if anybody's in the area, or even if you're just like in South Texas, just take the 2-hour flight and get down there. This is going to be the first time there ever is like this big Bitcoin builder event in Mexico. So this is big for them. Not too many Bitcoiners ever come down there, but we're hoping that we can just start a trend.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah,
That's
and then we
cool.
have TabConf. So TabConf is happening in Atlanta in October. We'll be doing a hackathon there with our friends at Zebedee. So Andre and Santos and crew will be have some prizes there, and people will be able to build and hack and do all those sorts of things. But the other thing I wanted to bring up was the Pleb TV stuff. I don't know if we can talk about that.
Yeah, I got it here. I'll pull it up right here.
So this one, we're still in beta, like it's still early. So we're doing this kind of you kind of have to sign up because we're still testing a lot of things. But what I will say about this is we're trying to figure out a way to decentralize the kind of video situation that we find ourselves in as creators. So I know you guys have received a sort of a block or removal from YouTube from time to time, and we're trying to get around that. I think we're coming into this kind of place where everything's centralizing and they're locking the gates behind us. And so with the advent of like AI and some of these other centralized entities that kind of grow and spawn from this, I think what we're going to start seeing is a little bit more of gatekeeping and a little bit more of censorship. And that's just why like protocols like Nostr are so important, and Bitcoin is because with these two independent tools, we'll be able to directly incentivize content creators to come to our side, basically the right side of history. And so right now Pleb TV is still in its early days, but our hope to get to do is to get it to a point to where the average person who's uploading to Rumble or X or Twitter or whatever, or YouTube, will automatically get a Pleb TV account, and then from there they'll be able to earn Bitcoin doing it. So we want to make it as frictionless as possible. It's a really high bar, but we think that we can get there over time, and right now we're kind of closely building towards that. Right now we have like 258 titles on there and stuff like that, and we're testing on the Prism side where you can send splits amongst people. So we're still testing all that stuff, and then hopefully early next year we'll be able to decentralize a lot of that video onto alternative servers, all over the world.
That's tight.
Dude, that's awesome. And I think that's incredibly important. We just went through our first kind of deplatforming thing, which I think was inevitable. So it just like that was a very big wake up call to me personally as someone who runs a Bitcoin media company, because I was like, holy shit. And I remember I called in so many favors that week. I went crazy on Twitter. We got published in Forbes, Zero Hedge. I made so many calls, and at one point I tagged Jack on Nostr. I said, Jack, do you know anyone on YouTube? Could you help out? And he just probably like, no. And then what I didn't realize is that he was like nice about it. He's like, no, I don't, whatever. But what I didn't realize is that he just had a talk with Odell in Riga at like a Nostr conference talking about the importance of protocols over social media, and I'm asking him for help for a centralized platform, and I'm like, okay, that was a wake up call. So then I started going down the rabbit hole, and I do want to give credit where credit is due. So a shout out to Lightning Goats. I'm sorry if I pronounced this incorrectly. Kieran, Darth Coin, for really helping me. Walter America for helping me as well, and the CEO of Primal as well. I'm a butcher. How do you pronounce his name? Milo, you know what I'm talking about, Car.
Yeah, I forget his name. It's a weird Majan.
Shout out to him as well. He helped out tremendously. So I make media, guys. I'm not a tech guy, but I was able to figure it out. It reminds me of the first days of me getting into Bitcoin and learning about self-custody and going down like that rabbit hole, because I understand things on a conceptual basis very well. On technical levels, I don't, but you really just need to understand things conceptually. And just going down the Nostr rabbit hole reminds me of the first days of me going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. Like, there is so much opportunity here, and what you guys are building over at PlebLab, Pleb TV, further decentralization. I think this is so important. Like, this is so important because what I was talking about earlier, the moment in history that we're in right now, where we're like in the thick of the disintermediation of information in the state, right? Yeah. And you see them fighting back, like Rumble getting banned in Brazil, Rumble getting banned in France, the CEO fleeing Europe, the Telegram CEO getting arrested, RFK Jr. giving a historic speech, Simply Bitcoin being deplatformed. Like, I love that we have some type of we're small compared to all these entities and people, but I'm glad that like in the historical context we're somewhat in there.
You're a distributor of information, Nico.
And it's so it's like, it's just crazy seeing all this, and I can't believe this, guys. 221, we topped out at 221 live viewers on Zap.stream the first day that we streamed to Nostr via Zap.stream. Like, incredible, blows my mind. So shout out to all the alternative platforms: Nostr, Zap.stream, Rumble, X. Of course, we love YouTube, but there's things on YouTube that are not exactly YouTube friendly. We respect that. It's a platform; they can make the rules. And we're grateful for them for having us. But yeah, these alternative platforms, man, alternative platforms and protocols, I'm very optimistic about, so we don't have to put all our eggs in one basket. And this is something like Pleb TV. I don't understand how it works exactly, Car. But is this something that we could post Simply Bitcoin videos to,
or our RTMP stream?
Yeah.
Yes.
Forgive me for my ignorance or stupid questions. Like I said, I'm a media guy, not a tech guy.
No. I think what you said earlier about the information, I think that's the part that they want to stop you from sharing, Nico. So you're doing the Lord's work there. So just keep doing that. But I think for the builder side, we need to make it easier for you, the content creator, to not have to think about this stuff, right? Like when it comes to Lightning, like you don't have to think about a lot of the things when you're using Lightning. You just send a payment. Same thing with Bitcoin. So on our side, we need to get better at reducing that friction, those pain points. And I think, like you said earlier, you got into the Nostr thing and you found Zap.stream. I think Zap.stream is the best platform to start with right now. I think over time we'll start unlocking some of the gates on our stuff because it's still early. We were just trying to do a lot of test stuff. But over time, what will happen is you'll be able to post just to YouTube. It'll automatically go to Pleb TV, and you'll be earning zaps there, and you won't have to change anything. And that's where we really need to get it to. It's going to take a lot of time, but yeah, we have a lot of people focused on trying to get that across the goal line, hopefully before the end of next year.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited, man. It's really awesome what you're building, and you did mention, like, how can people support what you guys are doing? How could people support PlebLab?
Yeah, I think just getting a builder pass supports us. I mean, we can get like 100 of those. That'll keep the lights on indefinitely. But yeah, I think just supporting the lab any way you can. 20 sats goes a long way. 21 sats. Right now, we just ordered some more food for the lab, so that's like $100. Like the little small things help. I mean, because a lot of what we do here is just very grassroots, and everybody's working for free. As you know, in Bitcoin, there's just a lot of volunteers. So we're doing our best to take care of the builders and kind of hold that line, so that way they can build in privacy and keep building the tools that we need for a lot of us to survive this next few years. Man, it's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough. I think you see them fighting so hard on the information stuff. I am like what I'm seeing with the money. Like if you're seeing them fight this hard on information, like wait till the money thing starts to be threatened. Like you saw that like Keynesian state economist, he's like freaking out. He's like, it's so important. Like, no, it's impossible. We get to decide what the fuck money is. Like you saw him freaking out. But like Bitcoin's a forcing function. You can't like your return on violence does not work when something is decentralized. And most importantly, I think that I'm going to say a couple things that are controversial. Number one, Bitcoin is an idea, okay? It's an idea. It's an idea that we can have a non-state money that can function, and it's actually better than state money, okay? I refuse to go back to that previous system. There's a lot more people like me, and the amount of people that think like me continues to grow by the day, right? That's number one. Number two, and this is going to be very controversial, but I'm sticking to it. Bitcoin is the most powerful political movement the world has ever seen since the introduction of Marxism in the mid-19th century. I'm sticking to it. I'm doubling down on it. And the reason for that is inherently the separation of money and state is political. And when people think about politics, what they're referencing in their minds is, the voting and left versus right and all that stuff and this. No. This is a step above that because it doesn't require voting in the traditional sense. It requires voting with your wallet. And if a big enough percentage of the population opts out of state money, you're going to effectuate change the likes of which the world has never seen before. And I think it's going to bring an era of human prosperity and freedom we have never seen in world history because the state has always had some type of control, right? So anyways, I kind of want to just say those things, whether you guys believe it or not. Let us know down in the comments. Before we wrap it up, I want to see what the results of the poll are, Opti.
Wait. Let's give Carr last two stats.
No. We're gonna give Carr last two stats. I just want.
Okay, so over here on YouTube, we have a statistically relevant poll of 71 votes, and 51% says Nashville, 49% says Austin. So
Jesus,
it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Wow, that is very close, dude. Holy cow. Okay, anyways, guys, we are getting to the top of the hour. I do want to give the man of the hour, Carr, the founder of PlebLabs, the last words. Carr, what are your thoughts?
I think you should come to Austin. We have a circle already. We have meat by KNC Cattle. We have dairy, so you can get dairy delivered. We have builders around here, so if you need anything built, technical support, we got that. We have places around town that you can buy groceries with, stuff like that. We also have meetups all over the place, happening all over San Antonio and in Round Rock. So yeah, you should come to Texas. And plus, we're a freedom state.
And yeah, plus, Ben the Carman's in Austin, so of course I'm leaning towards Austin.
Yeah. Dude, I am. This blows my mind. 221 live viewers, top viewers, all-time high on Zap.stream. Incredible. Rumble topped out like 120. YouTube topped out roughly 300. Then of course X topped out maybe like close to 1,000. But this is we're gonna keep doing this, guys. But yes, Austin or Nashville, Carr. I'm so divided. I'm so conflicted. We haven't made a decision. We're gonna talk about it, but I appreciate the warm invite, and we're definitely gonna stop by the PlebLab while we're there, and perhaps maybe do a live show from there.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Okay. I would say also we have Marty here, so if you go to Nashville, you'll just have Odell, and this way you have Marty and Parker and everybody over here in Austin. Awesome. And yeah, I think you should come to Austin.
Appreciate it. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Guys, go check out our guest. We have Carr in the house. Go check out his website, pleblab.dev. I'm your host, Nico. This is my co-host, Optimus Fields. We're Simply Bitcoin Live. This was your episode for September 10th, 2024. If you guys enjoyed the show, make sure to smash that like button. Consider subscribing or following us, and we'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. And tonight, Oppie and I are going to be reacting to the debate on Rumble, X, and Zap.Stream, baby. We'll be back. All right, everybody, take care.
To you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.